Hello, my name is Tony Lombardi. I'm the head football coach at Cedar Rapids, Washington High School, and I'd like to welcome you to this video series on behalf of American Football Monthly and myself. We appreciate you joining us. I'm going to share with you a little bit of our defensive philosophy that we have here. And over the years, I've had an opportunity to work with some great people. I just want to share a little bit about my background so you kind of know who has mentored me and who's been the role models in our development of our defensive package. And we do have a very multiple defensive package, and kind of the title of the series is how to simplify a multiple defensive package in order to be able to defend everybody on your schedule and defend different personnel groups differently and different offensive schemes differently, but still stay simply within your defensive system. I think that's the key. You have to have a defensive system that allows you to do multiple things, but in a simplistic way so that you can teach your kids to play within your system and not make mental errors. Defensive football is very fundamental and requires everybody to be extremely disciplined from the technical aspect of playing their techniques and playing their fundamentals. My background was such where I started working at the University of Wisconsin years and years ago under Jim Hillis and Dave McClain in the Big Ten, and had an opportunity to learn. Back in those days, everybody was running a 5-2 defense, and over and under front, and a lot of two deep, a lot of quarters behind it in the secondary. And as defenses evolved, we hired different staff members. One of the new coaching staff that came in at the University of Wisconsin included Mike Daly as defensive coordinator. I worked directly with Lovie Smith, and Lovie Smith, we all know, has gone on and been extremely successful, and learned how to implement a 4-2 nickel. So we evolved from a 50 to a 4-2 nickel look. And then I went on to become the defensive coordinator at Mankato State University. And we had some great runs there, some great defenses. We led the nation in different defensive categories over the year. In fact, over the four defensive categories, team defensive categories that they measure, we led the nation in every one of those four over the period of time that I was there. While I was at Mankato State University under Dan Runkle, I had an opportunity to work and learn from a lot of the great coaches in defensive football because of the fact that the Minnesota Vikings had training camp right there at Mankato State University. I had the ability to learn from people who I'm sure names you'll recognize: Pete Carroll, Tony Dungy, Monty Kiffin, Willie Shaw. All of these gentlemen were coordinators or head coaches in the NFL or in college football, and obviously I had an opportunity to learn a great deal from them. Then as our defense progressed, we implemented the Arizona Desert form of the flex, which is kind of a form of the bear. We played a little bit of the bear 46 in the early 90s, and as you know, if you go out and watch defensive football today, the bears kind of disappeared as a defensive front because of the fact that the passing game has evolved so much, and the ability to pull and trap really has put a little bit of pressure on the bear defense out in the C gap. So then the next evolution was this Arizona Desert Swarm and the flex, and we're actually going to have a tape on the flex defense within this series of tapes to show you how to implement that as part of your multiple defensive package. Then I went to Eastern Michigan University as the defensive coordinator, and our head football coach, Rick Rasnick, asked me to please implement the zone blitz, fire zone sort of a defensive package, which we did. And in order